And we're here for a very serious purpose, Something's out of control, but we're going to put it in control very quickly like we did on the southern border. I'm announcing a historic action to rescue our nation's capital from crime, bloodshed, bedlam, and squalor, and worse. This is Liberation Day in D.C., and we're going to take our capital back. We're taking it back. Under the authorities vested in me as the President of the United States, I'm officially invoking Section 740 of the District of Columbia Home Rule Act. You know what that is? And placing the D.C. Metropolitan Police Department under direct federal control, and you'll be meeting the people that will be directly involved with that. Very good people, but they're tough, and they know what's happening, and they've done it before. In addition, I'm deploying the National Guard to help reestablish law, order, and public safety in Washington, D.C., and they're going to be allowed to do their job properly.
And this is an unprecedented move, and it comes on the heels of their man Big Balls getting beat down in D.C. They never seem to care about anyone else getting stabbed, shot, and killed, Seth Riches, anything else in the past, but all of a sudden now they care. They care about going after druggies, right? Isn't that what a lot of the small-minded people out there are thinking? You think that this is all about druggies? What about the people that have a 9-to-5 that work all week and live out of the vehicle or are homeless? What kind of camp are they going into? Huh? Do you ever stop to think about that and see the bigger picture? Of course, people that are on drugs need help. That's obvious. But that's where it stops with some of you. Your small mind can't seem to see the bigger picture of what they're doing. Just like you can't see with these strike teams going around rounding people up, that the moment they lock people back down again, they're going to be used on purebloods. You better see the bigger picture of what's happening here. The federalization of a city is no joke. Taking over the police force is no joke. Putting the National Guard on the streets against the people to do whatever they need to do, he said, it's no joke, and it happens. Now, D.C. is its own little neck of the woods with its own laws, and it's just like London, just like the Vatican. I've explained this in separate videos, but this sets a precedent. Anyone that wants to show up saying, how can you be against them treating people for drugs? We never said that. Not once. You just made it up. We've never said that. You're just assuming that, or you're clinging to garbage. Yeah, they need help, but you won't face the bigger question. What happens to all the other people out here that are homeless? How does it affect them? What kind of camp are they going in? That's the issue. Not people on drugs that need the help, not that. It's everyday people that are going to get swept up off the streets everywhere with nowhere to go. They can get rounded up. And where are they going to go? Well, we'll see what these camps end up looking like. These treatment facilities. But again, how do you treat someone for being poor? That's the big question from here. Join me for the live streams. Going live Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern, right here on Dabu77. Talking about this.
Hey, Shalom. I'd like to start out by giving all glory, praise, and honor to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachak Double honors to the elders and apostles of the Great Millstone. Shalom to the elect of Israel. This is the Mayim in Atlanta, and this was from Dabu77's channel, and it's going into this big crackdown on crime that Trump's trying to do. This also goes into how he says he wants to make being homeless illegal or get the homeless off the streets. And ultimately, this is really just a trial run for their martial law and the beginnings of this devil coming down with great wrath. And so, jumping back to the video, here's a little write-up that Dabu has for it. And it says, Trump on Monday announced that he would act to crack down on crime in Washington, D.C., including by deploying the National Guard, announcing a historic action to rescue our nation's capital from crime, bloodshed, bedlam, and squalor. And worse, this is Liberation Day in D.C., and we're going to take our capital back, he said. Under the authorities vested in me as the President of the United States, I'm officially invoking Section 740 of the District of Columbia Home Rule Act, he added, and placing the D.C. Metropolitan Police Department under direct federal control. That's martial law. Since Trump went on to lament a long-term rise in crime in the city, highlighting that D.C.'s crime rates had surpassed the capitals of many other nations, including Mexico City. He makes these statements even though the latest numbers show D.C. crime is down 30%. And yeah, that's exactly where it's going to go. So this is from the United States Attorney's Office, District of Columbia. It says violent crime in D.C. hits 30-year low. And we could go into this, but we're not showing that crime is decreasing year after year. I even went into ChatGPT and I was trying to make it give me, which I asked originally, show me crime in Washington, D.C. over the last 20 years as a graph. And it's been all difficult, but it did spit out this graph. So it has robbery, aggravated assault in yellow, burglary in green, and motor vehicle theft in purple. And it's showing it from 1990 to 2018 pretty much, or a little after 2018. But each of them, year after year, it's going down. Or you see some ups in the 90s, but that was back when The Wire was going on. But there's a sharp decline into the 2000s, basically, with all of these categories. Robbery, aggravated assault, burglary, motor vehicle theft. I want to see violent crime, but we'll get to that later. Also, went to see crime rates in D.C. versus Mexico City, because he mentioned that crime rates in D.C. are much higher than, or dwarf those of Mexico City. But it says, this down here says, data on crime rates in Mexico City is not available in the search results. However, the whitehouse.gov says the homicide rate in D.C. is nearly 6 times higher than New York City. This suggests that D.C.'s crime rate, particularly violent crime, is exceptionally high in comparison to major U.S. cities. And yeah, it is high. It's still high. D.C. is a grimy place, but it's dropping year after year, and he's bringing in martial law. So you've got to question what is going on, and especially with the deportations that we're having. We're also seeing this. We're understanding that they want this to spread from the Northern Kingdom, which are the Latinos and Native Americans, to the Southern Kingdom of Israel, which are the so-called Negroes. And so this could be the beginnings of that. This is, because it seems like this is really a trial run for their martial law, so they could see the reactions of the people, see how their officers hold up, see how their facilities do, because they're able to put up CC camps or concentrating camps very quickly. We saw that with Alligator Alcatraz, and that was supposedly built in 2 weeks, showing that they could house these people, but they're not. This is something else. And it really goes into this devil coming down with great wrath. We're almost in the time of Jacob's trouble. But finishing this out down here, it says to make a comprehensive comparison between DC and Mexico City, more data on crime rates in Mexico City is needed, so they don't really know. It says this data should include both property and violent crime statistics, ideally by year, to allow for a more accurate comparison. But getting into the facts, or getting into the scriptures, this is Psalms 109 and verse 14. And this is a prayer of David against the Edomites, really a curse against the Edomites. But it says, let the iniquity which is iniquity, sin upon sin, of his fathers be remembered, and will be. The Lord said in Isaiah 14, prepare slaughter for his children for the iniquity of his fathers. It says, be remembered with the Lord, and let not the sin of his mother be blotted out. Because this is going against Edom. Edom's the so-called white man, and even the white woman had a good hand in holding our people back, the Israelites, the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. They're at the cause, or the women, Edomite women, are at the cause of a lot of these drowned towns and different insurrections of the Edomites against the Israelites, or the whites against the blacks for ages. So they have a lot to pay for as well. All of Idumea, all of Edom gets taken down. It says, let them be before the Lord continually, that he may cut off the memory of them from the earth. And they have done so bad, so wickedly, that the Lord's going to allow for Obadiah 1 and 18 to happen after they serve out their punishment of slavery, which Obadiah 1:18 is talking about their end, their whole genetic line being cut off, the end of their nation forever. Not a nephew or son or any remnant left of their abode. There won't be any Edomites on this planet after the 1,000-year reign, after they serve their slavery. It says, because that he remembered not to show mercy, but persecuted the poor and needy man. This is speaking, the poor and needy man speaking of the Israelites. But we're going to take it to what's going on. They're trying to get rid of the homeless and all these needy, afflicted people that are out here, which really they caused. And so we're going to use it here because they are the poor and the needy, the homeless, that he's trying to get rid of. That he might even slay the broken in heart. And this is what the Edomites do. They're so greedy that they can't even help the ones that actually need help. They can't even help the men of war that they leave out there homeless. And the Lord hates that. They can't run a just society because they are the wicked. It says, as he loved cursing, so let it come unto him. As he delighted not in blessing, so let it be far from him. And the Lord has showed favor unto the wicked, or even in the land of uprightness, but they're still doing wickedly. And so all that favor is about to be cut off. And they can see that they're about to be cut off. They could see the numbers of their birth rates. They could see they're actually on the decline. They could see on the left-hand side from their monthly prognosticators and their soothsayers, the spirits on the left hand. They're letting them know that they're on the decline, so that they have to come down with their NWO, and they're noticing people don't respect them. They don't have the power that they used to have. They know they're about to fall, and so they're going to take some extreme measures to try to keep their spot on top of the social hierarchy. But none of it's going to work. The Lord's about to end their world. As it says, Esau is the end of the world. Jacob's the beginning of it that follows. We're watching the end of this white man's world. And when I talk about Esau, it includes those small hatters. Don't want that to ever be forgotten. Because that's really the elite. That's who is pulling the strings. That's the problem right there. It's Revelation 12 and verse 12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea. For the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. And the Lord has given this devil, so-called white man, including the small hatters, these Edomites, which devil goes into deceiver. He's given them bounds that they cannot pass. They have a set amount of time in which they'll have rulership. They had a temporary blessing to rule this earth with the getting the fatness of the earth and doing it through their blessing the sword, but the Lord is about to take that away for the kingdom of heaven to come. And in that kingdom of heaven, they're going to be at the bottom because they are the basis of men. Look at all the trouble they're bringing to everybody, even to their own selves. They bring massive amounts of trouble, and so they're about to be in trouble. But first, we'll talk about Jacob's trouble. Jeremiah 30 and verse 7. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble. Jacob, his name was changed to Israel. Israelites being the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, as well as are scattered, because we've been scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. We're even going to be coming back looking like Edomites, but that spirit inside is that of an Israelite. But this trouble is going to start with Jacob, but it's going to become everybody's trouble. It's going to be Esau's trouble, Amalek's trouble, Amalek being the small hats, Moab's trouble, Elam's trouble. It's going to be trouble for everyone. It's a time of trouble such as never been throughout the whole history of the earth. But as it says here, but he shall be saved out of it, because deliverance, salvation only comes for Jacob, for the elect of Jacob at that. Because one third here in Babylon is set for deliverance. Well, the 2/3 of Israel will be burnt up. They couldn't figure it out. They couldn't wake up. So they'll be left here with Esau to feel Esau's trouble, in which Esau's trouble is going to be those nukes and every hand of the wicked coming against them. They've got a lot to pay for. But yeah, this devil's making moves. Keep an eye on them. And they're about to come down with great wrath, and they are. So, Lord willing, that was edifying. I'd like to give all glory, praise, and honor to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakha, Quadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of the great millstone. Shalom to the elect of Israel. Shalom.